Hello and welcome back to the conversation. We're talking about what it means to live and love and parent out loud. Jarius and Terrell Joseph have 3 children together. They wrote the book Love Out Loud. And what was the mission? What were you hoping to accomplish by writing what some will say is a really bold and controversial topic, but it's just your life?
Right. Yeah, we really just wanted to provide insight to people that don't really understand what our walk of life looks like. But then also we just wanted to allow people within our community to really feel seen and heard, because a lot of the stories that we share within Love Out Loud is a lot of similarities to a lot of walks of life that people have to experience within our community too.
People have been cruel on social media. We should point out you are content creators, right? This is what you do for a living.
Yes.
And people have been cruel, right? How do you manage that and manage with your children?
Yeah.
People understanding that people are just going to be mean to their dads.
Yeah, I think that it started off really rough with us trying to understand that it was so much negativity, and now we've used our platform to kind of do like little fun clapbacks and do, responses to those to kind of make people sit and think about it. We used to argue back and forth a lot in the beginning, but that never changed anyone's mind. So now we make it comical.
Right, okay.
Now we make it comical, I think, as a family. So it's fun to do as well.
Gotcha. Our viewers are looking at some of the some of the video, and actually we have a clip of an example of some of the conversations that you have very publicly with your children. This one for you and your daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most people have a mom and a dad, but do you have a mom and a dad?
No.
No, you have what?
2 dads.
2 dads. And that's okay too, right?
Right.
And that looks a little bit different than some of your classmates. Not everything is going to look the same for everyone, right? But I want you to remember is that sometimes things are going to look different for different people.
Sometimes things are going to look different for different people. How often do you find yourselves having to explain that?
You know what? It's crazy enough, not as much as people would think. I think it's really been a shocker and a blessing at the same time for us to be able to witness our kids go to school, because all these things that we had built up in our head of what it was going to look like or what kids were going to say actually doesn't really happen.
Right.
I think what I want people to take away from it is that everyone thinks that it's this big conversation that needs to be had, and really it's just a simple explanation, no different than how you explain ABCs or how rain comes about, like or anything like that. Like, kids get it really well, and now when we go up to the kids' school, they're just like, oh, that's like Ashton and Arya's daddy and daddy, and they get it so well.
It's so much easier sometimes for kids to get things than adults who already sort of have their own opinions and ideas about things, right? So now I need to ask a question.
Okay.
About this, because the auntie in me is coming out, right? Your children are how old?
Oh,
they're 6.
Almost 7. Yeah. Almost 7, and then 1.
And a 1-year-old, which in my mind means a lot of doctor's appointments. How do you handle like health insurance when you are a content creator?
Yeah, independent. So look.
So you're paying out of pocket for health.
Yeah.
Those co-pays on that annual visit.
I know, that's the one thing we miss about corporate jobs is we had the best insurance at the time. But yeah, it is very different world.
And what made you decide to leave your corporate jobs with 3 well, you didn't have 3 children at the time, but with young children and knowing you wanted a growing family?
Yeah, so it got to the point where our social media careers were taking off, and it was more than what we could have ever thought was possible with corporate jobs.
You were both in business, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I worked at a really amazing tech company here in Atlanta, and just before you know it, just after working hard on social media, it was no career path that could have ever been comparable to what we were doing on social media.
And it allows us to spend time with our kids.
Absolutely, yes, you do. You can't miss anything.
Right.
You don't miss anything in that space, and that's awesome. I want to talk about the time you all spent, your families spent on Wife Swap. And I want to ask you why. It's because you guys just really put yourselves out there as fathers and your children, going into a situation where you were the family that was trying to understand, your lifestyle, but still struggling with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Why was that important?
So if you ever watch the show, they swap you with complete opposites.
Yeah.
And so
Completely opposites.
Complete opposites. And so going into it, we knew that. And so just like with our social media, we thought that, again, it was really important to us because we didn't have representation, that if we went on a show, again, to just show how normal we were, just to show our family, our love, our day-to-day, that it would somehow, again, just change the mindset of people who just have this taboo, like don't want to have this conversation or have their minds made up, adults, of what it looks like. And so that was the reason that we did it. But it was a wild
beautiful
ride.
family, right? So I mean, it wasn't like a completely negative experience. It was a lot of just understanding and coming to have to help people understand.
Right. Right.
But I'm curious though, what did you learn about yourselves in that process that you didn't know about yourselves before, even from living with another family that wasn't necessarily embracing
I think that
a gay couple?
I think that going into it, we were so focused that we wanted people to understand us and our lives and how we weren't that different. And then we weren't put in a situation. I swapped, so I went to the other's house. And I think just really truly understanding that every family dynamic is so different. They had, I think, 7 kids, and the oldest was like a teenager wanting to date, and I was young at the time, so I'm like their parental figure. And I think it was just learning that really everyone has so many different walks of life, and everybody experiences shape them. And so just like that family, it wasn't any hard feelings on the show, but it's made to discuss the differences. And so I really learned about my mindset as well on how I viewed other families.
And that's what this is all about, just looking at our own lives and what we can learn from others as well, right? All right, so after the break, we're going to play a game to find out more about the Josephs, these dads, and their beautiful children. You do not want to miss it. Stick around. Hey there, Portia here. Listen, that was a good conversation, wasn't it? Want to see the rest of it? Just go to portiashow.com, scroll down until you see that particular episode. But listen, before you scroll on out of here, I need you to do me a favor, please. Like, comment, let us know what you thought of that episode, and subscribe. And if you already are a subscriber, we sure appreciate you. In the meantime, we'll be sure to see you on the next episode of Portia, and you can catch us weeknights on Fox Soul as well. Tell your friends. Tell them to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.